Sex workers in Montreal are planning a strike this weekend as the city hosts one of its biggest events of the year, the Formula One Grand Prix. Joining me now is one of the women behind this event. Melina May is a Montreal-based sex worker and the co-founder of the Sex Work Autonomous Committee, and she joins me now from Montreal. And Melina, tell me a little bit about why you decided to start the committee and organize this strike.
So we co-founded the committee since I think 7 years now in 2019 for organizing in our workplaces, and that's what we are doing this weekend. So we're gonna we've called for a strike. So sex workers around Montreal, either they work in the workplaces or independent, are being called to walk out from their workplace and join our activities during this day.
And why strike during Grand Prix weekend?
So the moment is strategic because it's one of maybe the more profitable moment in the industry. Well, for bosses. So in strip clubs and in massage parlors, there's like more client coming in. So what we wanna do is like kind of push our demands during that weekend because there's going to be a lot of activity, and we are also using this moment to kind of have the media attention, because during this weekend usually there's a lot of feminist prohibitionists calling for the end of the sex work industry and calling for more police in our workplaces. That takes a big part of the discourse. So we want to maybe put the highlight more on workers' rights.
And can you explain a little bit about the Canadian sex work industry to our viewers who just may be unfamiliar on how it works?
Well, at the moment, the sex work is criminalized in the sense that clients and third parties are criminalized for buying, promoting sexual services, and so sex workers are not criminalized in this sense, but we are in some way, and it has effect on us. It's harder for us to check, to screen clients, for example, as independent escort, or also in strip clubs. It's, our bosses are not all liable for a safe working place. So it makes it harder to ask for better working conditions, because if we call out for the violence we live in our workplaces, maybe our workplace is going to shut down, and that's not what we want. We just want to have the same access as other workers, and which are protection, and we want to have the same mechanisms that all formal labor industry have to make their workplace safer.
And since strippers are not employees, but rather independent contractors, many of those striking will not be paid during the strike, right? What have you heard from those who are striking this weekend regarding possible job repercussions?
Well, it's for sure striking is always a risk taking. At CATS, we gathered money. We did a raffle for a strike fund, because we're not a formal union. We don't have this money, so we gathered money, and hopefully there won't be too much consequences. For example, workers or colleagues that are going to be fired. Hopefully that won't happen. But what we say is that, striking is always a risk, but we think that striking is also historically it has been the most effective strategy for workers' rights struggles. So it's usually a pretty effective strategy. So we're trying that.
Mm-hmm. And finally, what are you and the group hoping to achieve with this strike at the end of the day?
Well, for sure, our demands we have 3 demands. I don't know if we're going to reach them at the end of the weekend, but the first one is the abolition of the bar fee. So that's an amount that strippers are paying in clubs to work, and we think that we shouldn't pay to work. We should actually be employee, and not just only strippers, but also massage parlors and other precarious field in the industry. And with this status, we would, have the same protection as workers, as I said, unemployment, paid leave, all that you benefits. And the last one would be decriminalization. So that's maybe the bigger, broader goal that is pretty unanimous in the industry. And I think that our biggest hope is to show our power as sex workers, to show that we're workers and we're organizing, we're taking the same means as other workers in formal industry, and we're fighting back.
Melina, thank you. That was Melina May, a Montreal-based sex worker and the co-founder of the Sex Work Autonomous Committee.
Thank you.